Magazine Dreams is a very controversial movie for many reasons, not because of, well, actually because of its subject matter and its actor. But if you're unfamiliar, it's a 2023 movie that came out at Sundance earlier in 2023, and it was scheduled by Searchlight Pictures to come out at the end of the year on December 8th. However, the SAG-AFTRA strikes, and Jonathan Majors had a scandal where he domestic abuse with his girlfriend at the time caused him to avoid jail time if he did mandatory in-person domestic abuse counseling. A full year, 52 sessions in person. So that kind of hurt his career because he couldn't do acting and stuff because he'd have to go there often. And he also got dropped by Disney and his Kang character from the future Avengers movies. So this movie was in limbo because Searchlight didn't grab it, and then another company called Briarcliff got it, and it's finally being released about a year and a half later. And this movie is actually amazing. This movie's it blew me away. I didn't know much about it. This movie's directed and written by Elijah Bynum. He did a movie for A24 called Hot Summer Nights with Timothée Chalamet as a sort of quiet teenager loner who falls for the sister of his drug-dealing boss one summer. It's like a wild sort of coming-of-age, sort of a little bit of violence, kind of interesting movie. That one was fun, and this one is his next movie. He also wrote The Deliverance for Netflix. It's like a horror film, but this one was on a shelf, so this one was technically the next one. And this movie is about Killian Maddox. He is a bodybuilder with mental health issues. At the beginning of the film, we find out all about him. He was locked up for a bit, and now he's out, and he's taking care of his pop, his grandfather, who owns a house. So he only has two goals. One of them is to become an amazing bodybuilder who's so famous he'll be on magazines, like his hero, Brad Vanderhorn, and Arnold, of course. And then his other goal is he has a crush on a girl named Jessie who works with him, but he doesn't work with her. He works on other days. So this movie starts off as a sort of drama. It's about him working out. You find out his routine. He knows his grocery amount. He buys the same thing. He trains every day. He doesn't have any friends, and things get shaken up when he decides to ask out Jessie. And we get an amazing, awkward dinner scene. Props to Haley Bennett. She's only in the movie for a little bit, but she definitely is a great actress, and she gets to display so many emotions on her face in that sequence. But we found out more about Killian and his backstory and his mental health issues, and he starts to decline. This is described as the incel movie because Killian decides to get into guns and wanting to have a legacy, and he starts getting into altercations with people and starts spiraling. This movie is very uncomfortable, and this movie definitely explores a lot of icky topics that you wouldn't want to deal with. It's the equivalent of you're sitting on public transit and someone sits next to you and just starts muttering to themselves and freaking out, and you can't leave. And this movie gave me anxiety, in a good way. It just, the way it just kept getting more uncomfortable and throwing in new plot things at you. It was just this is essentially Jonathan Majors' Joker. The movie Joker also can be described as incel movement, a lonely male who's taking care of a parent, dealing with mental health issues, being kicked around by the world until they have enough and they strike back. So this movie is very similar to that, and Taxi Driver, another movie that people vilify for that. And it's true. There's sequences where he has these therapy sessions with this lady that very similar to Arthur's in Joker, and the plot just keeps getting more and more weird. The movie just kept going, and you think, oh, okay, we've reached the sort of climax, or sort of he can't go lower than this, and then the movie just finds a way to go even lower, and it feels, okay, first off, it feels like it's based off a true story, and I don't think it is, so that's a really great writing right there, and it's a really great role for Jonathan Majors. I know he got canceled and everything, and this isn't really a comeback movie because this has been shelved, but he gives 110%. First off, his physique. He looks like a bodybuilder. He probably trained like an actual bodybuilder for months after Creed to get even bigger than his Creed character, so he's into the role physically. And then acting wise, he's soft spoken. He's probably on the spectrum, but you can't tell. He's got mental health issues. He's trying to just hold back. He's got that kind of bubbling sort of boiling water. Just like, I think you saw a little bit at Creed 3 where like he's like a hungry caged animal just wanting to just lash out, but he's sort of tampering it down, and like you just get this sort of unease when you look at him. And a lot of characters, side NPC characters in this movie, like little grandmas at the shop, you know, walk around him when they see him, or the people on the street kind of walk away because he's a big guy and he's muscular. But yeah, as he goes throughout the film getting damaged from other people, people start to get more scared of him, and he finds himself cut off from his support systems, and he starts going down a dark path. I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. The reason why I don't give it a perfect 10 is because the last, I don't know, the ending of the movie feels a little bit like it's playing it safe. And, you know, obviously the director wanted to go for a more hopeful direction, which is fine, but I kind of feel like the movie should have maybe been a little bit more audacious, a bit more realistic. But overall, the movie does have some uncomfortable subject matter about you know, lashing out at society and things like that. And the movie, you know, has an amazing bravado performance by Jonathan Majors and Haley Bennett as well, and some other smaller players. But this movie just floored me. It's an amazing masterpiece, and it'll probably become a cult classic in the future. So I give Magazine Dreams a 9 out of 10.